All right, so let's talk about AI. We hear all the time about how it's going to change the world, right? But behind all that hype, there's a pretty shocking secret. Most AI projects are actually failing. So today, we're going to break down a blueprint for how to build AI that actually works, that makes it out of the lab and into the real world.
And here's why this is so important. Get this. Some studies show that a staggering 90%, sometimes even more, of AI projects never actually make it. They just become these expensive, flashy demos that go absolutely nowhere. Think about that. That is an incredible amount of wasted time, money, and honestly, potential.
So that's the big question, isn't it? How do you get into that top 10%? What's the secret to building an AI tool that people will actually use, that they'll trust, and that they'll really come to rely on? Well, the answer might just lie in a framework that comes from an AI product architect named Marcel Masaga. He's the founder of a company called SIHA AI, and he's basically taken all of his hard-won lessons and distilled them into a super clear step-by-step life cycle. And this is it. This is the whole shebang, the 7-phase AI product life cycle. Think of this as our roadmap for the next few minutes. We're going to walk through every single phase, from that first little spark of an idea all the way to launching a product that has a real, lasting impact.
First things first, we've got to build the right foundation. We're talking about phases 1 through 3 here, and this is all about strategy. It's the deep thinking you absolutely have to do before anyone writes a single line of code. And let me be clear, if you get this part wrong, the whole thing comes crashing down later.
So in phase 1, ideation, Masaga gives us this really simple but powerful filter to run any idea through. It's pain times scale times uniqueness. Is the problem you're trying to solve a genuine, nagging pain? Does it affect a whole lot of people? And, this is key, can AI offer a solution that is truly unique? Not just, a glorified spreadsheet. For his company, the pain was maternal mortality, the scale was thousands of clinics, and the uniqueness was using AI to make sense of voice notes in places with few resources. It passed the test with flying colors.
But even if you have the world's greatest idea, there's this classic mistake that kills projects right here in phase 1. It's not about the idea, it's about ownership. When there isn't one single person who is responsible for the outcome, the project just dies. It gets stuck in limbo between different teams. Every AI project needs a dedicated owner, right from day one. Okay, moving on to phase 2, defining the use case. And here, you come to a really important fork in the road. Are you building to automate a task, or are you building to augment a person? Automation is about replacing what a human does, but augmentation, that's about empowering a person, giving them superpowers to do their job even better. And this quote from a nurse using Masaga's tool just says it all. It's so powerful. The AI didn't replace her. It took away the boring paperwork, which freed her up to actually provide human care, to hold a mother's hand. That is the goal of augmentation. The AI should free us from tasks, not from each other.
So, what if you have a few different ideas for how to use AI? How do you pick where to start? Well, you pull out this simple but super effective tool, the impact versus effort matrix. The key thing here is you don't start with the biggest, most complicated project. No way. You start with something that gives you high impact for low effort. You get that quick win, build some momentum, and then you go after the bigger fish. And the last piece of this foundation puzzle is the team. And look, you do not need some massive 50-person innovation lab to get started. Masaga suggests what he calls the 3H model. You need the head, that's the product owner, who owns the why, the hands, the technical lead, who owns the how, and, most importantly, the heart. That's your domain expert, the nurse, the doctor, the person who actually lives the problem and owns the context. This small team keeps you focused and grounded in reality.
All right, so our foundation is solid. The strategy's in place. Now we have to actually build the thing. This next block, phases 4 through 6, is all about taking that idea from the clean, tidy lab into the messy, unpredictable real world.
In phase 4 prototyping, we have to get one thing straight: the difference between a demo and a prototype. A demo is designed to look good, to impress people under perfect controlled conditions. A prototype, on the other hand, is designed to work in the real world, with a tired nurse, a spotty internet connection, and a crying baby in the background. It's meant to be tested, broken, and learned from.
And that means we need to totally rethink how we measure success. It's not about getting a 99% accuracy score in a spreadsheet. That's a lab metric. The The real-world metrics are things like, do people actually use it? Does it save them time? And do they trust it? Because if your model is technically perfect but nobody uses it, it's a failure. Simple as that.
This brings us to Phase 5, ethics and governance, and to a huge, thorny question that every single team needs to have an answer for before they ship anything. Who is on the hook when the AI gets it wrong? When it makes a mistake that has real-world consequences? Who's responsible?
And the answer is crystal clear. It's the human who approved the AI suggestion, and it's the organization that put that system into the world. The AI can inform, it can suggest, but a human being has to make the final call. That's why building in those human-in-the-loop checkpoints is completely non-negotiable.
And beyond just liability, there are a few other big landmines to watch out for, especially with all this new generative AI stuff. Things like hallucinations, where the model just confidently makes stuff up, or hidden bias in the data, like a hiring tool that mysteriously downgrades non-Western names, or even skill erosion, where we get so reliant on the tool that we start to lose our own expertise. These aren't just philosophical problems, they're straight-up business risks.
And this all leads us to Phase 6, deployment. You know, probably the #1 reason for that 90% failure rate we talked about is right here. It's because so many projects solve really interesting technical problems instead of solving real human problems. If your amazing AI tool doesn't work offline in a remote clinic with a terrible connection, then you haven't actually solved the user's problem, have you? All right, we're in the home stretch. Your AI is out there, it's working, people are using it. Now comes the final and maybe the trickiest phase, scaling with purpose. This is all about taking that successful little pilot and turning it into something with a lasting, sustainable impact, without losing the magic that made it work in the first place.
So, how do you know when it's really time to scale up? The signal is when adoption stops being something you have to push and starts becoming something you can't stop. It's when other clinics start calling you asking for the tool, when nurses start training other nurses on their own. That organic pull from the market is your green light. But scaling isn't just about getting bigger. It's about growing responsibly, making sure that quality, support, and that human-first mission don't get lost along the way.
As we wrap this up, this statement from Masaga really frames the whole thing perfectly. AI can be the greatest equalizer, or the biggest divider. The technology itself doesn't care. It's our choices, our designs, our intentions that will decide whether it bridges gaps for people or just makes them wider. And that really leaves all of us with one final big question to think about. The AI we're building, or the AI we're thinking about building, is it just to chase a trend? Is it built for hype? Or is it built to solve real problems for real people? Is it built for humanity? The choice is ours to make.